And that's the next session on the We Women Want Conclave 2026. As Editorial Director, Priya Sehgal, joining us in conversation with Sachin ji. Priya ji, could we have you on stage, please?
Hello, and we welcome Sachin Pilot to this conclave. In fact, there is Sachin Tendulkar with cricket and there's Sachin Pilot. I think all of you hit sixers, so there's something about that name, Sachin. But before that, I want to ask you about your surname also. Do you have a pilot's license?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Priya, and good morning to all of you. Yes, second question is that I do have a pilot's license. The other one is a longer story. Relates to my father, how he left the Air Force and entered public life, and how he was advised to change his name because no one knew who he was, and Mrs. Indira Gandhi actually picked him up and asked him to contest. And while filing his nomination papers, the returning officer said that you're a young pilot officer and you have no background, so no one knows who you are. And there was no mobile and WhatsApp at that time. So he advised my father to change his name on the ballot paper when you file nominations. And that's where he filed an affidavit and changed his name to Rajesh Pilot, so that people could see that this is the pilot that Indira ji had selected to fight that election. And then that name just picked up and then became a family name.
But can you fly? Or the pressure of the name, you had to fly?
If I have a license, I can certainly fly, right?
Okay, fair enough. But, you know, Sachin, this is our women's conclave. We have a weekly show, We Women Want, where we raise issues pertaining to women. You know, there is nothing that is off the table, whether it is domestic violence, abuse, breast cancer, women in the workforce, laws that help women, laws that don't. So this is the culmination, really organic culmination of that show today. So before we go on to other issues, I'd like to talk to you about women. You know, who are the women who have inspired you?
Well, first of all, I think it's very important and it's very good to see that it's not just discussion that people have in platforms that are intellectually advanced or people who are more quote-unquote liberated. But now it's come to a point where it's important to discuss issues and openly. It's taken many decades for people to come out. And I say this because women talking about women is not that impactful. It has to be both men and women taking part and then speaking consciously about what changes can happen. So it's a very positive thing. But are we there yet? I don't think so. I think there's a lot more discussion that needs to happen in the smaller towns, the tier 2, tier 3 towns in small villages. We have legislation, for example. We have reservation for women in the local bodies. We have many more women coming and, you know, taking leadership positions in many fields of life. But if you compare to any developed country or even some developing countries, I think we still have a long way to go. For me, I think I take inspiration from women who really have, taken the step forward and broken barriers. It's not about very important, prominent leaders or film actresses or even sports stars. It's women who defy circumstances, who, you know, against all odds are able to realize their dreams and, you know, make struggle a part of their life. And all those women, it could be a woman who's a housewife who just basically wants to make two ends meet, but is able to stand up, for herself and her family. Those women, I think, are inspiring stories around the world, and more especially in India. And it's a society where it takes a lot of guts, a lot of perseverance, and a lot of fire in your belly to come up and win those small challenges. So I think it's not just about the famous names that we see, it's about the daily lives of women who are making and effecting that change in their lives and in their lives of their loved ones.
Sachin will never give a name. Pehle maine pucha tha, who's your favorite film star? I remember long back. So he thought, and when I pressed him, he said, I think Waheeda Rehman or Nutan. So he goes straight there. He just plays it safe.
You never said dead or alive. You said who are the people you like in the film industry. So I took, Waheeda Rehman, Meera Kumari, Mumtaz, and so on. So there's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that. I was just so leaders who inspired you in terms of women leaders.
But there have been many. I think it'd be wrong to just take one or two names. Like I said, people who have the advantage of having a platform and having those skill sets and capacities to fight something they do a good job. But think of women who have nothing, who are the unknown faces, who really are not in the spotlight or, given the advantage of exposure and fame. Those are the women. I mean, like I'm saying, there are millions who on a daily level, daily life, strive and succeed. So I think it'd be wrong to name just A, B or C political leader or someone who's made name for herself, but generally people, and there are so many. I mean, I travel all over the country and I see people, women who are just in the workforce, people who are just, fighting. For example, there is always a bias in our corporate culture. Those women who are struggling from middle management to top management, the kind of challenges they have are different from a woman who is struggling as a tribal person in Jharkhand or Odisha or Chhattisgarh. So there's so many women. I think we must celebrate every success, and I think the smaller the success, the more encouragement that woman deserves.
अभी भी नाम नहीं लिया. This is
नाम बहुत सारे हैं, right from freedom fighters to post independence to even today the people from across political parties.
Freedom fighters.
No, I come from the Congress party, and I think we've been very lucky to have women who've led from the front, right from Indira Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, and
Correct.
We have Priyanka ji today. But they are just names of people in the political sphere. I'm trying to expand the way we look at life and look at our country. It's not just political leadership, because look at countries like Pakistan and Bangladesh. They've had heads of state who were women. But are women better off there than in other parts of the world? No. So it's not just tokenism about having a leader, a president, or prime minister. It's about empowerment in a daily life to people who live, on average in India. Those are the women that really matter.
और आप राजस्थान से हैं, आप वहाँ के उप डिप्टी सीएम भी रहे हैं, तो वहाँ पर तो देयर इज आल्सो वेरी फ्यूडल माइंडसेट. सचिन, तो आप क्या वहाँ पे कर सकते हैं कि जहाँ पे विमेन का एम्पावरमेंट होए या उनकी स्थिति अच्छी होए?
देखो, it's not just Rajasthan. And even in a metropolitan city, you will find problems in women reaching their potential. And like I said earlier, it's not just women talking about women to make them stronger. It has to be a societal change. And I think men have as much a role to play as women do. So first thing, I think what really, to my mind, makes the most difference is the cultural upbringing. It's the talk in the house, जो घर पे, खाने में, व्यवहार में हम लोग बर्ताव करते हैं, बातें बोलते हैं. हम बाहर कुछ ही भाषण दे लें, लेकिन घर में आके if we differentiate between a boy and a girl who is a son and a daughter, different rules, different criterias, different pocket money, different deadlines for coming back home, that starts the trend, and that's at a very early age. तो मुझे लगता है कि जो हम लोग घर पे माहौल, स्कूल में, बाहर कुछ भी हो, लेकिन घर के अंदर, if you are able to show that we are actually not just speaking but treating women with equal pride and respect that we owe them, that's the beginning. And that can't happen just because a woman of the house wants it. It has to be the man of the house, it has to be the kids, and also the close society we live in. So that's changing slowly. I think we can all do our best to make it change faster. But today, because of social media, because of the information that we have, the trend is changing. But I have to say, we have a long way to go. Because I've seen many people who बाहर कुछ बोलते हैं, भाषण कुछ बोलते हैं, नारी शक्ति और इक्वालिटी एंड दिस एंड दैट, और घर जाएंगे तो अपनी माँ, बहन, बेटी, सास, मौसी, बुआ, उनके साथ जो बर्ताव होता है वो अलग रहेगा. And that's true for a lot of men. And I think we have to look inwards and change that.
Fair enough. That is, I think you deserve a round of applause for that comment, because this is a very good message to send to our viewers. But Sachin, हाल में,
can I just say, in terms of media, I think women make the best anchors, much better than men.
Thank you for that special applause. Thank you. Also, Sachin, हाल में we've seen, the young are really now speaking out, Gen Z. In fact, we had I did a town hall with Gen Z and asked them, who are your leaders of tomorrow? So one of the names they took was yours, Sachin. In terms of people, they have faith in people, they like their politics. इसलिए शायद हमने आपकी बचपन की फोटो भी यूज करी है to create.
ये बचपन की नहीं है, 10 साल पुरानी होगी.
So अभी you are nearly there. So how do you think a politician should connect with the youth? मतलब सिर्फ Instagram में जाना या उनकी language बोलना, कि आप क्या और क्या कर सकते हैं?
एक तो I think the silliest thing we do is try and pretend who we are not. I'm 48 years old. If I try and act and pretend to be 20, 21, I'm really, making a mockery of what I should be doing. It's not important how old you are. It's about what your mind thinks and feels. The first thing we have to do, as policymakers, is first realize the fact that we are not the repository of all wisdom. सारी दुनिया की अकल हमारे पास नहीं है. अनुभव हो सकता है, थोड़ी बहुत एक्सपीरियंस हो सकता है, but we have to be open. I think I learn every day from people who are a lot younger than I am in terms of how to act, react, even initiate policy discussions. So people in public life have to first understand that we are where we are. We've had our time. We've all been 20, 30, 40. Now it's another generation who's looking for a better tomorrow. How can we facilitate that? You know, you want to be the catalyst to bring the change. You can't be the change. At 49, अब मुझे पता नहीं वो आजकल अल्फा, Z, X, Y बहुत complicated है, but I know for a fact that I have 2 kids and both are Gen Z or Alpha, I think Z होंगे. But those are the people that we have to work for. So first we have to stop pretending and using lingo and trying to be Gen Z and trying to connect. It doesn't happen. It's like when a generation older than us were trying to be like us. We used to laugh at them. हंसी आती थी, why an older uncle who's like at that time 60 years old trying to be 25-year-old. It doesn't work. But if you open your mind and you open yourself to discussion, to hear, to listen, that'll change everything. And you're right, Priya. Now what has happened, I think, and for the good, let me say, young people have realized that tomorrow is theirs. What kind of a country are we going to have in 25 years' time? Some of us may not be here, but what are we leaving behind? It's a very cliched dialogue to say कि नौजवानों का भविष्य है, भविष्य नौजवानों का है, देश आपका है. Fine, but what are we leaving behind for them? What structures, what governance structures, what policy issues, what kind of society we are leaving? So I think young people have realized, and I think we've seen in the last few months, a groundswell of unity. And the best part, I think, is that divisive things like religion, caste, community, language is not a barrier anymore. 10, 15 years ago, we could say North, South, Hindu, Muslim. But when someone is 21 years old, they're thinking of the community, they're thinking of the country, they're thinking of themselves, and they're able to bridge that gap, which perhaps some of us have failed to do. In our politics, we are still jaded by election kaun jeet sakta hai, is caste ka kya hai, is dharm ka kya hai. So I think young people have realized that this is not the way forward for all of us. So what we have to do is stand with them, encourage them, support them. And of course, there'll be people who will be perhaps misguided at that age or misunderstood at that age. So to keep that check and balance is our job as elders, as people who've lived through those 20s and 30s. But generally, I think we have to allow that discussion to happen, listen, and not pretend to listen. It's a big difference, Priya. We can pretend to listen, we can make reels, and we can do all this lingo that people are trying to use, but we have to genuinely listen because they are the ones who are most affected by what we do today. In terms of pollution, in terms of our democracy, in terms of what kind of leadership we have, it's important to allow that space. And finally, Priya, we have got to learn to give space. All of us, no matter what profession we are in, usually once we are on the platform, we want to occupy all the space. This sense of insecurity is what leads to bad decisions. It leads to a sense of arrogance, and the hierarchy steps in. If you are more democratic in your mind, you will allow space. And there's enough space for everybody. But a lot of us, try and occupy the entire platform. Kisi ko aage nahi aane dena hai. So I, in my own way, I've been in politics for 25 years. I've always tried, because I got a chance at a very young age to become a member of parliament, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So I've always tried to see how I can support a young person, achieve his or her potential. If I'm able to make someone attain a leadership position and sustain that person, I've done my job. What is the point of me becoming MP at 26 if I can't help 100 other people to become, pradhans or mayors or MLAs, MPs at a young age, right? If I want to keep that space to myself, till I turn, 70, 80, that's not fair. So I think the transition has to happen in real time. It can't be just lip service. नौजवानों का भविष्य है, देश आपका है, भविष्य आपका है. I mean, it's present, it's today. So we have to yield space today to make sure everybody's on board.
But Sachin, something very funny is just has been happening. For the last 12 years, we've had a young leader of opposition, who's been raising somewhat the same issues. He didn't have as much success as a headless movement led by youth. They managed to have the same impact within 2 weeks that he's not been able to have within 12 years.
You see, now, you must understand, we are in the opposition for the last 12 years. And there's a government for last 3 terms. What happened recently, I think, was a culmination of multiple things. Right? And as an opposition leader, one has to then talk about all the things that are responsibility of the opposition to raise voices against, right? Not just young people, but economy, unemployment, foreign policy, internal security, so on and so forth. So there's a variety of issues that we focus on. To be fair, if I remind you, Rahul Gandhi ji actually took this up a lot before the agitation started. But yes, it happened in capital. It was a non-political movement, and people cut across the entire spectrum of ideologies came together, and the national capital really was the hub of the activity. But don't forget, there were actions happening all over the country. People from across the states got united online. You know, one of the things I really admired in this agitation was that people across parties, even people belonging to the ruling dispensation, their kith and kin, nephews and grandchildren were feeling suffocated, that they wanted to be heard. That dialogue didn't happen, unfortunately, and that's why it became an agitation. It became, violent in the end, unfortunately. So I think all this happened in sequence. But as opposition party, we've always, and I can say this with full responsibility, at any chance that we could get to raise the voice of young people, to make it more effective, to give them that space, we fought tooth and nail. But it's up to the people running the governments to be open, to be sympathetic, and to take on those issues on board.
No, fair enough. But the opposition, you've raised the issues. I'm not saying you haven't raised the issues, but the connect is missing. As one of your Congress colleagues said, finger on the pulse nahi tha.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong assessment, because a sudden event happens, it becomes a news cycle for 48 hours. It catches attention, something new, something unexplored, something that they've not seen or heard before. There is curiosity for sure. But for a long-term change, for a sustainable, actionable program and agenda, you need a platform, a political will, a systematic effort to reach to culmination point. You can grab headlines, of course you can, anybody can, but then to make it sustainable, to take it to a conclusion, it requires a lot more. And can I just say, as Congress party, I think anybody who disagrees on genuine issues with the ruling dispensation is happy to join efforts. It is not an individual-based or a party-based issue. It's about a whole generation. So anybody, whether it's an NGO, a political party, a leader of any nature, wants to come and make things better for anybody. And I'm saying this whether it's Jharkhand, whether it's Delhi, whether it's any part of the country. If anybody has a positive view, is constructive, is collaborative, is thinking, talking, and acting in favor of the young people, all those people are welcome. Because ultimately, what are we aspiring for? हम चुनाव लड़के जीत रहे सरकार बनाने किस लिए? To help people, to make younger people get a better life. If someone is helping, contributing that, it's more than welcome. It's not about, who gets the recognition, who gets the credit. That's all part of, what all of you discuss, and iska effect hua, aap pulse nahi pakad paaye, ye hua. Noise. Ultimately, are we actually, beyond the rhetoric, beyond the agitation, beyond the headlines, are we actually able to help people live a better life? Are we able to create more jobs? Is our standard of living improving? Are young people more satisfied? Are they more participative? That's the end point that we want to get to.
This passion that I hear in your voice, this is something that I think is missing in some of your leadership's comments. This is why the connect doesn't come, because you are speaking straight from, you're
You can pass judgments, but I come from the same pool. So when I talk about myself, please make no mistake. I speak for myself, I speak for the Congress party, and I speak, for the opposition at large. So you can like, dislike, but I'm saying my voice is not my only voice. I belong to an ideology, I belong to a party, and I'm voicing what I know the party thinks and wants. So you can have a choice of words. I'm in the working committee, I'm a general secretary of the party. So what I'm saying with full responsibility. I know what the leadership wants, whether it's my president, whether it's leader of opposition, whether it's anybody. We all sit together, think about the country, and then see what best we can do. Sometimes you have a bias, you like someone, you don't like someone, you like some comment, you don't like some comment, but collectively, all of us in the Congress and the opposition believe that we have a job to do, and we're doing it with full determination.
Fair enough. I just want to, just a couple of quick questions before we end. If there's any advice you'd like to give to, I'm not saying you reached the Lifetime Achievement Award, but at this point, to a younger Sachin, say a 30-year-old Sachin.
Oh, like a younger self of me, huh?
Younger self of you.
Well, one thing I can't advise myself is to be more patient, because I already have been patient. I think I was very, very, like all young people are, when I became MP at 26, I used to get very agitated when I saw things working slowly. You know, the bureaucracy, the time taken, execution, budget allot ho gaya, kaam nahi ho raha. So I used to get very agitated. And I used to feel, I was very, very restive. Why is this not happening? But then I look back and I see how this country functions. You know, we have our differences and people say there is a lot of delay, we are overly democratic, there are so many hurdles in the way, bureaucracy gets in the way, so many politicians are. But you know, to keep a country like India functional, and some of us don't realize how much we take for granted. You know, you see around the world now so many wars, so many internal conflicts. India, we have taken our unity for granted, and thank God for the people who made this country, because if you look around, what happened in Manipur, what's happening in many other parts of our country, to keep everybody's views on board, to have the head and heart and the patience to listen to everybody, arrive at a consensus, and then move forward. It's a slow, painstaking effort, exercise that has to be done. If you just do, because I have majority, my way or highway, if we go with that attitude, we'll end up hurting so many people. And we don't realize, you know, the simmering fires that could be in different parts of our country. So I think when I was younger, I didn't have the kind of understanding I have today, that how important it is to get that one lone voice, whether it's from Arunachal, from Pondicherry or from Ladakh, to have those people listen to them, make them feel as stakeholders. You know, that comes to you when you realize how easily fault lines can be misused to create acrimony and violence. So that, I think, is something that we all as Indians have to appreciate, understand, take a step back, and then carry everyone together.
Well said. Just two more questions. One is, if you were in Dr. Manmohan Singh's cabinet, लेकिन अगर आप किसी और Prime Minister के cabinet में, you know, which is the Prime Minister whose cabinet you would have liked to be part of?
Honestly, I would have liked to be, if I got a chance, to work with Rajiv Gandhi ji. I mean, he was 40, I think, when he became Prime Minister. And that, he had ideas that were before their time. And to have worked with someone with that much youth and energy, you know, that time India was not what it is today. And I wish I had the opportunity. I only met him a few times. I was much younger. But that's one person I would have enjoyed working with, I'm sure.
Fair enough. And last question, you said women make good TV anchors. So who's your best TV anchor?
I'm talking to her.
On that note, right answer. Thank you. Big hand for Sachin for speaking the truth. Thank you.